and they will share this video feed with others. We want you to know that you are welcome here at the Eastside Church of Christ. While our minister is Anson D. Wallace, I'm your assistant minister, Maurice Schofield, and youth director. You are here to our Fresh Start Saturday Family Connection, what we do every other Saturday to empower families to grow and to develop holistically, from the children to the parents, mom, dad, grandparents, and all those who are outside the family that make an impact and a lasting effect on how that family grows. So we have a great cast on today that will be blessing us with their tools and their abilities and their wisdom that will show us spending time together. What does that mean in 2020? What does that mean for families today? What does that mean for singles? What does that mean for those who are dating? What does that mean for those who are married? What does that mean for those who are newlyweds? Spending time together is a very essential subject that many need to identify more and more of how to classify what does that mean in their lifestyle today, especially with how this 2020 year started and where we are currently. How does that correlate with spending time together during the things that we have to embrace that's new? So we have a great cast on today. We have two married couples, and also we have a young man who recently graduated from high school, and you have a special guest that will be joining us for the roundtable discussion on this evening. We appreciate you all. Please sit back, take this opportunity to share this video feed with others, be inspired to understand a little bit more about what does it mean to spend time together. Also, thank you for spending this opportunity with us. If you have any questions, any thoughts, any comments, please place them within the comment section of the video feed, and we will definitely get you an answer in a timely manner. So enjoy this presentation, and you have the cast right behind me.
Very good. All right.
He's present. All right. So,
How was your birthday?
It was good. It was great. We had a wonderful birthday. When you came to my door, come to my front door, on the side there was radiated lights. So it was like on the right side of my house, and then when you go to the backyard, we had like a fire going. So we sit around the fire, and then and then I gathered all the people that were there, and we did hide go seek tag and everything, and so we had a good time. We had a good time there.
I didn't know you even had anything.
No, we did. We had some lumber people come in our backyard. They chopped down some trees, and then after that, they kind of redid some of the trees to turn them into chairs, and they made a fire pit as well. Yeah.
I get invited.
She sent out a group text.
Yeah, she sent out a big group text. Yeah.
Nah, it's all good, man. Your phone's probably on the blink again. You're probably right. I don't make fun of my phone. Because it works that way. I don't got my phone right now. I don't know where it is. It's on the blink. I really don't. Yeah. So it's interesting. This topic is spending time together. It takes on different meanings as you go through life. Like his importance now as a young person, probably it's still somewhat with the family, I imagine, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when you start dating, it'll take on a different meaning. You agree?
Yes, I do.
Are you already taking on a different meaning?
No.
No,
you ain't started.
You got something you want to share with your mother and father?
No, I'm not dating.
Not yet. You don't want to tell them yet. Okay.
Not yet.
Okay. Yeah, they're probably okay. Long as you don't bring home Jane and not James. Everything probably be okay.
Brother Boone keeping it real. He telling you the truth, man.
And I'm gonna tell you, too, Brother Sparks, it's gonna take on another meaning for you and your wife.
Absolutely.
When your children start bringing home the kids. Grandkids put a whole different meaning about spending time together.
What do you mean?
As soon as the grandkids leave, you and the wife get to have time together. But when the kids are there,
Oh man.
Brother Smokes, you don't
goes
exist. Nothing happens but the grandkids. That's all that matters. The grandkids, okay?
Oh, man.
I'm just warning you.
Well, but that's kind of how it is with the kids right now. You know, we spend a lot of time together as a family doing events, and it's not really predicated off of particularly what I want or what she wants. It's kind of like all encompassing. So
Well, you know, when you have children of your own, you have to spend time with them.
Right.
You have to share and, you know, make sure that they get their homework, make sure that everything is going well with them while they're in school and they're not having any issues, you know. So yeah, but he's talking about when grandchildren come, when you become a grandparent.
Yeah.
I got another 30, 40 years before that happens.
It's a
So.
big
Well, enjoy
difference.
it. You become insignificant for X number of hours through every day.
Yeah.
Then when the grandkids leave,
Then it all starts.
and then you matter again. You exist.
Yeah, because it's,
Because
it's
while
a
they're there,
different
you don't exist.
atmosphere. The atmosphere is a lot different than.
Hey, let's
Right place I was looking for.
absolutely.
Southwest 4th Street.
Hey, everybody.
Come to the round table discussion.
Hey, we got a new guest here.
Yeah.
Mr. Missouri, man of distinction.
Yay!
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's right.
Congratulations!
excellent. Hey, by the way, what we're discussing today is based off of this book. It's called Fantastic Families. It was written by Dr. Nick and Nancy Stinney, Joe and Alice Beam. Now, this book is based on the largest study ever of strong families. What they did is they got research from 14,000 families and put this book together. So this is what we're going to be going over today. The chapter that we're reading is about, let's double check here, in page 97, if I'm not mistaken. It's about spending time together. Oh, chapter 4. So that's what we're going to be discussing today, different ways of spending time together with the families from different perspectives.
You know what? I am excited and delighted that you all have allowed me to be here on today with you all. And I'm just so elated at all of the wisdom that I'm sitting around. And I appreciate you all for allowing me to come to this roundtable discussion with you all to gain some feedback, gain some knowledge on what does it mean to spend time together. In my platform, it is entitled Family, Fortifying All Members, Inspiring Lads Year Round. And so I need some help. And I think I can get a little bit of that help today to understand how does that look in society of this 2020 year. So I got a question for you. What does spending time really mean?
To me, it means just enjoying being around my husband and just I like to look at him. I like to feast my eyes on him.
All right.
I love it when he's home. I'm sad when he leaves, but I'm happy when he comes back.
Ah.
I love to spend time with my husband. I just love this man and I love spending time with him.
Look at Brother Paul. Sure he's not
All right.
a victim?
We've known each other all through high school and all through our lives, and finally on our 30th class reunion is when we started dating.
That's wonderful.
And spending time together for me, as I was saying earlier, it takes on different meanings at different stages of your life. And so at one stage, spending time together was real important with having the time to just sit around each other, but it also having time to be away from each other, which I find more important for me personally, to have time alone. To have time alone.
I was trying not to laugh.
Also, which is as important as having the time I have spent with my wife. But I like to be able to be
Where you going, the computer room?
solitude sometimes, because just time to reflect.
Right.
And then that also helps when you get together, because for us men, we learn the importance of agreeing,
Right.
and that's what men learn when they're married and when they're in a relationship. they learn the importance of agreeing, and part of that is keeping the peace.
Right.
The agreement is keeping the peace. So the time together gives you time to practice and polish the skill of keeping the peace and agreeing.
Right.
Also,
I think it's gonna be.
you also, as you spend time together, you also learn there are very few arguments that you will win. So you learn how to say okay, even if you don't really mean okay, you say okay. But later on, you get to spend more time, and you get to come back to whatever issue it was, and you get your perspective worked in there. Not that anything changed, but you get to work it in later on.
Okay. All right. So that's from a married couple. All right. So from a young adult perspective, what does that mean?
Spending time means spending time with my family. More so going out and just getting some fresh air. Like, for example, my parents are at work and we're at school and just all worn out, and it's just been a long year, and we just plan a vacation to go somewhere. And so it's just more spending time with family and just getting to interact more with the family and having fun and clearing the mind of just thinking of positive things and helping your body physically and helping yourself mentally as well. That's what I think of spending time really means.
You brought up a great point. And that point was being able to spend time with the family. So let's pose for a question. What does that mean to a mother, spending time as a mother?
Spending time as a mother, I would say it has, because being a mom, you have to, take time away, take time away for yourself, but then also making sure your kids are taken care of, so you're spending time with them, doing things with them. And like, for example, in our home, I have to sometimes make sure all our kids have different personalities, so they all like different things. So you don't want to try to center it on. So say, for example, our oldest like football. Well, you don't want to have the two youngest ones doing everything football just because that's what he likes. Everybody has a different personality. So you got to kind of feed into all of that. So doing that, and then also setting time aside and spending time with your husband and just trying to make that balance so that everybody is taken care of pretty much.
Okay. That's a good analogy from a mother's perspective, because mothers are important. Mothers have a great role, and they have a great level of responsibility that the man doesn't have. So, with that in mind, the father perspective, how does it look from a father perspective, spending time together? I'm loud. Is that one of those?
See, this is what I did for y'all.
Okay.
So controlling.
You're helping. She's just trying to help.
Spending time, she mentioned a lot of it already. Spending time it's kind of an everyday thing. It's a must for us. And I think it's important that you prioritize it. Spending time is a thing that you absolutely have to do, because you can lose yourself. If you isolate yourself, you can lose your mind almost. You can also start to neglect your family members. So for us, spending time is eating dinner together sometimes. Spending time is watching a movie or video. It's Bible studies. It's just talking. Really, that's the best thing about spending time together. Is literally just talking. My kids ask me stories. They want to hear a story from, hey, how was it when you grew up? Where'd you live? Was it in the hood? Was it not? They really ask me questions just like that, because they don't, they just want to know more, and that's how they get to know who their parents used to be and how it differs from who they are now. And that's how they get to know us. It also is a part of developing their personality as well, So spending time as a family. Now, you're only talking about as a family, right? All right, yeah, as a family. It's really just every opportunity we get to just, kind of, forget the world and spend time and communicate with one another.
Okay. Now, before we get too far ahead, it seems like we're going to have a great evening. And I want to get to know who y'all are. So I found the location that they told me I had to come to. That is 106 Southwest 4th Street. And this is the Eastside Church of Christ, right?
That's it.
Okay. So who are you?
Church of Christ.
I am Lorna Elaine Boone.
Oh, hold on. We got to hear that again.
I am Lorna Elaine Boone, Mrs.
All right.
And I have been married to Leo Boone for 13 years. We have been dating, we started dating in 2000. We got married in 2007. Like I said before, we met in high school. I liked him when we were in high school, but I never told him. He didn't know, and I wouldn't tell him. So it was all right. So when time came for us to get together, we did. And we have a beautiful marriage. We laugh a lot together, and we have sad moments together. Like he said, he likes to spend time away from me sometime. I don't know what the deal with that is, but anyway, when we come back together, it's all good. And a lot of times he likes for me to read his poetry, and he likes for me to read when 10 o'clock I go and read. That's when I go and read my Bible. He likes for me to read him to sleep. So I do
nice.
that. I do that. And so we have I believe and feel I tell people we're still on our honeymoon.
That's right.
And we have a lot of good times together. We very seldom argue. We have disagreements, and we work them out. They don't last long, which is good. Yeah.
So one thing I noticed you mentioned was when conflict comes, or problems, or issues, you just work them out.
Yeah, we work them out. I will shut down, because I don't like confrontation. I will shut down. He'll shut down, and then maybe 2 days later he'll come back and bring it back up again, and we'll work through it. But I see him over there shaking his head. He knows. So anyway, but
Shuts down.
yep, I will.
Just say okay.
Yes,
Whatever you say.
definitely. Yes, that's right. He's right. Thank you.
All right. So who are you, young man?
I am the other half. I am Leo Boone, and thinking about the subject of spending time together, the first thing comes to mind, well, she just mentioned the communication part.
That's right.
And without the communication,
That's right.
you don't want to spend any time with anybody, And one of the greatest things that we as a couple have in common is our love for the Lord. And that is the first thing. And in order for us to have any time together, we have to have the peace that we have a relationship with God first. And that helps, it's the foundation for us having a relationship with each other. So we can spend time together because of our common thread, and individuals are just that, individuals. And family members and husband and wives are individuals that are united. And in being united, you think about what's your priorities. And our first priority is our relationship with God. Second priority is the commitment we have with each other. That's a real growing process, for the individual and for the couple.
Right.
So, I thank God that we have grown this far, but I'm also aware that we got more growth to go because we're still alive. And so
right.
individuals, our time together gets better because we're committed. And our time together is also important because we can be together if we're not in the same room. And my wife is learning that.
Yes, I am.
Because I will leave the room, and sometimes we'll go watch a game, sometimes to,
That's right.
just to get along. I like to write. She likes to read. So, but we're still doing it together because we're in agreement that, okay, for the most part, we're in agreement that, okay, this time you can have doing what you want to do, and then there'll be times when we'll be doing things together, whether it's writing, reading, or watching television, or sitting up just doing nothing. So
Just talking, having conversation.
that gives you an idea for us. Thank you.
I don't know. So as I'm taking notes, because I told you I got an assignment to complete, and learning from these two powerful individuals, that's one. They said, I got to learn, in essence, of making sure of fortifying all members, inspiring lads year round. You got to make sure you have a commitment. And whatever that commitment stems from, you got to make sure also you communicate. Because if you don't communicate, then you can be in the same room
Still be apart.
and still be apart.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, that's good news. So I tell you what, it's only fair I introduce myself. So I'm Maurice Schofield, Mr. Missouri, man of distinction. And I recently moved here about almost 6 months ago now.
That's right.
And I'm learning a lot about Missouri. And it's a unique culture. I know y'all like barbecue. Y'all like music.
True.
Them Chiefs.
Chiefs, yes.
Atlanta Falcons. The Chiefs.
It'll rub off on you, brother. It'll rub off on you.
They won the Super Bowl this year, and y'all got a lot going. There's so much to do here, and it's so wide-fetched to where wait a few minutes. If you cold now, it might be hot in 2 more minutes.
That's part of the beauty.
Yep.
And then 4 more minutes after that, it might be snowing.
Part of the beauty.
And then 45 minutes later, we might get some rain. And then it might snow again. And then the ice will come.
Yes.
And then it might get hot again.
It might be a tornado.
And then you might get a tornado. So you got a little bit of everything going on in Missouri, and you gotta love it. Gotta embrace the culture. And so one of the things that I stand for within my platform is to help families to fortify themselves in essence of knowing their culture, knowing their standards, knowing how to make commitments with others, but also within their own family unit. And so that's who I am. Who are you?
My name is Xavier Mark Anson Wallace.
All right. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I've recently made it through preschool, elementary school, middle school, high school, and then now graduated high school and got my diploma, and I'm very excited for that. And now I am currently in college. I've now made it through 3 weeks of college, and I'm actually very excited because of I'm kind of organized in what I'm doing right now. But it was the more exciting to it though was I took my first essay, and it was a narrative essay, and so I took some of my story from my book and I implemented it into my essay. So
Very good.
it was awesome. It was awesome. I'm going to try to major in journalism. So I might give out the good news out to people. And so and I'm also a gospel preacher. I've been preaching for a couple of years. Been preaching ever since I was 15 years old. I think that's when I started preaching. First time I started preaching, I was nervous. I was actually sitting right there, right by my dad, getting ready to go up. It was the last song, and right as I got up, my legs were shaking really hard. I was shaking so hard, and then I thought to myself, and just calm down, just start talking, just start going. So that's what I did. And so I have a wonderful family. I have a mom and a dad, and I have a brother. My brother's name is Bryson, and we have our ups and downs. We fight sometimes, but we have our ups and downs. We communicate, and we talk it out sometimes, and it works out. And so, and our family has our ups and downs as well. So, and I'm working towards becoming the best young adult I can be right now. Helping other people, and so is my friends as well. I have a best friend named Kalon. Me and him, our mission is to just help other people who need God right now. So we're just so spiritual and thankful that God's on our side. And I'm glad I was able to show my friend Kalon the Word of God.
That's right.
So that's a little bit about myself. Xavier Mark Anson Wallace.
All right.
Mark Anson.
Now I got 3 questions. The first question is, you said you and your brother used to fight. Now who used to win the most? No, don't answer that. We're on TV. But the third question is, which goes back to the second question. Mm-hmm. You sound like a famous person. Xavier Mark Anson Wallace. And you're going to school to be a writer. What are some of the things you would like to write about?
Oh, well, I would like to, there was one thing on my list. It was about, I wanted to write about Black history. And then I kind of got into nature a little bit. Nature has been one thing, because there was, in my backyard, there's like a cornfield in my backyard. So me and my friends went back there, and then there was this hill. There was this hill that we went on, and we saw the whole thing. We saw the sunset and everything. So I was like, that is amazing. So I took pictures and everything. They were great pictures. So I thought I can put that as a hobby, just me being a photographer of just nature and everything. So that, I thought that'd be great, just writing about nature. And then the story I'm writing about is an autobiography about myself. So it's gonna be a lifespan of when I was little, all the way to when I was a little kid, to a teenager, to young adult, to an adult, to an old person. And so I think that would be a good start. Yeah, I think that would be a good start for me as well. And I kind of want to write, I probably want to write at least 1 or 2 books over like steps or ways to become a better Christian. Okay. So I think those are like the 3 books I'm probably going to be writing so far. And I'm first starting on my autobiography right now. I'm starting on that right now.
Well, let's give him a hand. This young man has a lot going on, doesn't he? Yeah. He's a writer. He's a preacher. He's a best friend. He's a brother. And he's many different other things. And he said, I want to do, these are my goals. He mentioned, I want to write at least 2 books. One, in reference to making sure that individuals can understand some steps of becoming a better Christian. He also said one of his best friends is an individual that he has been able to share God with him. And he's learning how to overcome some hurdles. Y'all notice what he said, because I'm here taking notes. I told y'all I'm here. I got an assignment, okay? So the assignment is to make sure, he said, now, I'm learning and overcoming some things. So just like you guys said, hey, we got to work out some conflicts that may come up, because I shut down, and I, we can't shut down forever. There's a place back home called the Shutdown. It's like a meal factory. So it brings back men when you say shut down. But it's good to meet this young man. Now, who are you?
My name is Darissa Smarts.
Oh, yeah, you got
So I've been married to this handsome, crazy man for this year. This July was 12 years. We have three beautiful spoiled kids together. And we just continue to grow together. It's been a great journey, and continue to look forward to the journey, seeing our kids grow, continuing to get to know each other, and just continue to help each other grow stronger. I mean, we both have dreams, both things we want to succeed and do, and it's been a good journey. I continue to look forward to just continue to grow and make things better.
All right. Now, I told y'all I got a homework assignment, so y'all don't pick it because I'm taking note. Now, she said that what we need to let the audience know. She said, look, me and my my husband, we got some goals, and we want to achieve those goals, and we are a family. Y'all remember that song, We Are Family? Okay, y'all know it. You know, I ain't no singer, but y'all know that song, We Are Family. But she said we got some goals that we got to work on. So there's a trend that has taken place from the two couples here. They said, look, we got some goals that we're going to work on. We're going to do that thing. We got these kids we're going to raise. And, we got our own aspirations personally. But I love this handsome boo thing that I'm married to. And so that's part of my family knit, is to make sure that he's happy, I'm happy, taking care of these kids. And we still got our own thing that we're going to accomplish in our future. Now, who are you?
I am Nathan Smocks. And as she mentioned, we've been married for 12 years. And if you don't mind, I'd like to tell you the story of how it happened. All right. Long time ago, Xavier. Matter of fact, I talked to you directly.
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
Before the beginning of time.
It was two people.
It was two
No,
people.
I'm just joking. When I was 19 years old, I was working at this hotel that's downtown Kansas City, Crown Center area, called the Hyatt. And the Hyatt actually owned buildings inside the Crown Center, the center and everything. And I worked at this Italian restaurant called Milano, no longer there. Right above it was this other restaurant for kids called Crayola Cafe. So one day I'm a host and I'm greeting people and smiling and taking them to their seats, and a manager comes and she brings this lady with her.
All right.
And this lady that's with her is one of those moments, Xavier, where it's like a movie and you see, the manager there, there's other people there, but a window opens up. And when that window opens up and you see this individual, you got to make a decision. And at that time, I made a decision that I was going after her. Like, honestly.
All right.
Like, it wasn't one of those things where it was like, I don't know. It wasn't instinctual. It was more like gravity. You know what I mean? So I made up my mind, like, all right, I got to see what this is about. And 12 years later, I tried all my tricks. The tricks didn't work. My honesty worked, honestly. That's really weird. None of the tricks worked. I tried a lot of tricks. I tried to get sent up to her rest. She worked at another restaurant above us.
Oh, so now you admit
I will admit it. I will admit it. I used to try to get sent up there. They needed a little bit of help, needed me to come up there. I come up there and help them out a little bit. Give me opportunity. Nah, but look at Xavier. But ultimately, it was, you only get a couple of things right. I know that I got that right. That's probably the first thing in my life I got right, because I made so many mistakes. Xavier, once again, I'm talking to you. I made so many mistakes. That's the one thing that I got right. Then I heard the gospel. The real gospel. And that was the second thing I got right. And ironically, we heard it together, didn't we? Ironically, someone came into our living room and sat down with us, and we were supposed to be teaching, and as we were teaching them, started realizing, like, I'm not the teacher here. They're teaching us. So ultimately, we learned the gospel and got baptized, So I was very happy. So those are the two things I've gotten right. No matter what kind of job you get or career path you choose, you can get those things right. But I got her.
All right. Now, I told y'all I got an assignment, so y'all don't be picking at me now. So the assignment is I had to learn from this couple. Now, notice what he didn't say. He said, tricks are for kids. Y'all notice that's what he didn't say, right? Y'all caught that? He said, now there are some things that I did wrong, but the number one thing for sure that I got right, he said, I learned how to kneel down like an elephant. Now, y'all know an elephant, it's kind of hard for an elephant to kneel down. But when an elephant kneel down, that means that elephant has something important to do.
That's right.
And he said, Darissa, now I've been trying to get you. All the tricks wouldn't work. So I'm just going to be honest. Now, that's what he did say. Will you marry me? But however he did it, he said, I got the woman of my dreams. He tried his very best. He said, I put away the tricks, because tricks are for kids. And he got him some Captain Crunch. And the Captain Crunch got him where he was going to go. And he said, I heard the gospel. And that's important. For anybody in society today, you have to have a spiritual family. One of the things in fortifying families is that you have to connect them with a spiritual family. It's all good to have mom and dad, but one day you got to leave mom and dad's house. It's all good to have your own family, but then how are you leading that family as you start your own family? Xavier, Mark Anson Wallace said, look now, I'm writing these books and I'm going to, in essence, put my life story. He mentioned at the end, I'm writing my biography right now. So he's learning more about himself to be fortified and to inspire other people year round. And that's very important. So I appreciate you all allowing me to get to know y'all. But I got a question for everybody. Anybody can answer this question, okay? I told you I got a homework assignment, so don't pick at me. What are 3 things that you can tell the world about spending time in a marriage?
I believe the first thing is that you're going to always learn about each other, because you never know the other person. And it takes a lifetime, if that long, if not longer, to learn about your mate, your husband, your wife, because every day is a learning experience. And so that's one thing that I would say that is very important.
Okay, so you got the one thing. Number 2, what's another thing? We all got something? What's another thing that you gotta let the world know about spending time in a marriage?
I would say making sure in a family aspect, especially with little kids, that you create a balance.
Okay.
So make sure you separate it. So like with our household, you got to make it just about the couple. So myself and my husband also got to make time to spend time as a family. So us and the babies, or they're not babies, kids, and then taking care of yourselves. That way, it's a balance, and it's like almost like everybody's getting taken care of. There's nobody left behind. There's nobody, centered off by themselves. So just creating a balance. That way, everybody is spending time together. But don't always make it about just us spending time together and the kids are always at home, or vice versa, always with the kids, and then we're not taking care of, each other. So, yeah.
Can I add to what she said?
Absolutely. This is number 3 now.
Oh, no, it's still number 2.
Okay.
Just adding to hers.
Okay.
He got one.
He got
I
one?
see it
Oh, he
coming
got
up
one?
the
Okay.
test. All right. We did a little bit of marriage counseling with other people. And one thing that we have seen in the past is people who prioritize themselves over other things and other people in their household. So I'm going to make, we went across one person. If it's December, that is that person's birthday month. So no matter what it is, it evolves around them the entire month. And you don't tell a person how to live their life, of course, but I'm not sure that's the healthiest thing to do. As you was mentioning, creating that balance. Even though it's my birthday, I still want to make sure that I encompass everybody in that activity. Even though it's, this is the month that my daughter has recital, or this is the day that she has recital, we want to make sure that we give her attention, her time, because she's worked hard for that. But we also want to make sure that we are involving everybody and balancing everything out. Even with us, we know we have to spend time with each other. We can't lose ourselves in just the kids, making sure that or the business or the bank. I work for a bank. I'm not going to mention who they are. I like the job. Don't get me wrong.
All right. Captain Clutch.
Right. Yeah, it's not the Hyatt anymore. They're not here anymore, so I can mention them. But we just make sure that we make time for everybody and try to, you're not going to get everything right, obviously, but just trying to make it a point to create that balance with everything. There's only one thing in our household where there's kind of imbalance, and that is when it comes to God's word. It's kind of it's there. It's not really a thing where it's a whole lot of compromises. It just is what it is with that one. But you want to create balance with your entire family. I just want to give a few examples of what that was.
All right. So we heard two things so far. Number one, that is learn and continue to learn.
Right.
And then point number two, it is prioritize. Make it about what the main essential thing is. Prioritize that, because she say mommy and daddy time is mommy and daddy time. So the kids going to sleep, so they may even get a babysitter and they get out of town for a little while. We don't know, but they said put the kids to sleep. Now notice how she cleared that up. She said they ain't, babies, they kids. She didn't mention baby kids. She said they kids. So she cleared that up. And she cleared that up real good. What's the third thing?
I think the third thing is a three-part thing. And it will be flexibility,
That's right.
openness,
Yep.
and commitment. And those three things will tie into things that were already mentioned and also encompass a lot of other things. But you have to be flexible with yourself, your spouse, all family members.
Right.
And that's all part of the communications, which is part of the spending time together.
What if you're not flexible? What happens generally?
If you're not flexible, then the first problem is going to be within yourself.
Ooh.
And the next problem is going to be you're going to destroy the ones that you say you love. You're going to destroy the family.
Because you're inflexible.
Because you're not flexible. Because life is such that we don't always get our way.
Corona.
And at the same time, life makes us where we don't always want to give in to somebody else. Okay. So you got to be able to give and take. And that's what it's about.
Right.
And that's what makes a marriage, that's what makes a family union work, the give and take. Amen. Which leads right into the openness. You got to be open when there is an issue. You got to be open enough to where you can resolve the issue. And you got to be open enough to where you can enjoy your good times as well as your bad times. You have to be open for all those blessings that God sends your way. And by having an open mind, you can see when there is a blessing or when there is a challenge. Okay. So along with the openness, is and the flexibility is the honesty.
That's right.
You have to be honest. Otherwise, you're deceiving yourself, and we not want to practice being deceitful.
That's right.
But we also must be able to recognize when somebody's attempting to deceive us, and also help us to. Sometimes we have to point out when somebody else is being deceitful. So again, the cycle continues on.
All right. So hey, we appreciate that. Let's give them a hand. Those are three powerful points that a married family can do to be fortified. Number one, learn and continue to learn. That's what was just shared. Number two, learn how to prioritize. It's time for mom and dad. It's time for the kids. It's their birthday month. We're going to center it around them and include the whole family. And then you have to be flexible. You have to be open, and you have to be committed. I like that. That's how you tie things in together. Now, don't pick at me. Now, I told you I got a homework assignment. So the next question would be, what about, how would you help someone that's dating that has not gotten married yet? What is one thing that y'all can share with them to say, you know what, to spend time together as someone who's dating? What does that look like? What does that mean? Anybody?
Ooh, man. There you go.
Search for your common thread.
Search for your common thread.
That's a good one.
Okay, we like that.
I would talk as much as possible.
Talk as much
Talk
as
about
possible.
the things that are most important. Things like, your aspirations, not necessarily in business, but in family. Spend time together doing stuff that will invoke conversation, is what I'm saying.
So what you did say is provoke not to do things that married people do,
Oh, you
but just
definitely
date.
That
Okay.
messes, that, in just my opinion, that messes stuff up.
That's
big
messes
time.
stuff
It
up.
complicates things.
How does it mess things up?
Well, when you talk about sex, right?
In general.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure we all on the same page. When you involve that into relationships, it blinds you to the things that you truly should be looking for,
Okay.
right? And not to mention, it's literally not meant for people who are not married. It's hard to appreciate it.
Gotcha. So for those who are dating, realize that you have to prioritize your responsibility, as these fine couples mentioned. Also, you have to just take time to take time. Just spend time to talk about some important things, about aspirations, about goals. And as you guys mentioned, finding that common ground, finding the commonalities within one another, so that as you approach what the elephant on one knee did, 12, 13 years ago, then you will be ready, because he was ready. And then you'll learn that Captain Crunch has a meaning, he had the man up, he Captain Crunch for a reason.
Right.
So then this is my third question. How can you help those who are just single altogether? They ain't dating, they just single. But then they may be upset with the world. I ain't gonna never get married. I ain't gonna ever have kids. And, I just don't understand, how is life working? I don't get it. They look like they the happiest they want to be. I know they got some problems going on. So how can you help the single person? What's one thing that you would share with them about spending time with God? We're in the church, right? So God, how do you share that with them?
I have a friend who is single, and her thing is that, she wants to be married. And what I tell her is that, waiting on God to provide you with the right husband takes, to you it might be a lifetime, but God always gives us what we need at the time that we need it. So his time is not our time. So the best thing to do is to just, pray about it and leave it there. And I have to say this, my husband prayed for a godly woman. He asked God to send him a godly woman. And God did. Thank the Lord. He sent me for him. And every time we would have a conversation when we were dating, I always applied a scripture to whatever we were talking about. And that was one thing that he liked, because he saw that in me. He saw my light shining. I didn't just say, hey, I'm a Christian. I don't this and I don't that. He saw my light shining. And this is what I, tell my friend. You let that person see your light shining, and they will, if they're for you, they'll be there. If they're not, then, good luck. You don't need them anyway. But the thing is, it's hard for a single person to listen to what the advice you give them, because we've all been single.
Right.
The flesh wants what the flesh wants.
True.
So we all have to, we have to not be judgmental, but
That's
we
right.
have to remember, hey, I was where you are now.
That's right.
So I can only advise you, to let you know, well, hey, I went through this. But you always have to remember to put God first,
right.
self second. And God will bless you with whoever he feels that you need to have beside you. So that's my advice, that I would give to a single person. Don't rush, because the first person come up and say, I love you, that may not be the person.
right.
You have to see, let God choose who, you should be with.
And I'd like to add that one of the things, advice you can give to a single person is for them to focus a little more on their relationship with God, and have an honest conversation within themselves about themselves,
That's right.
and so they can be comfortable with who they are and what they want, which is going to help them in recognizing what they don't want,
Right.
so they can go after who they do want, and so that they can also present themselves to the person that they might be looking for. Because if you present yourself in a negative way, more than likely you're going to attract negative ways. And if you don't, you're going to have a positive reject you because you're being negative.
Yep.
But if you're not comfortable with yourself and you don't recognize who you are or what it is you want or what you aspire to do, or your relationship with God, then you can't go out and find anybody else that's on the path that you want to be on. If you're comfortable with being negative, if you're comfortable with being dirty,
Right.
then you're going to attract yourself to dirt, and you're going to attract. We're not going to be around somebody that don't reflect who we are ourselves.
That's right.
So
Yep. That's the law of the seed.
my advice is for a single person to get more comfortable with themselves and with the Lord.
That's right.
Now, that is two powerful points coming from a tag team duo. I got to brush your shoulders off, man. That was sharp. I like that. And notice how they tied in. Now, don't pick at me. Now, I tell you, I got a homework assignment. So they mentioned, and what they actually didn't say, but they alluded to, the old saying would be, you remember when you drop something on the floor, like a food item that you were so dying to eat, and you pick it up and say, God bless the germs, dirt won't hurt. So in reality, dirt can actually hurt if you are trying to attract something that's positive. So to those who are single, it is so important to fortify yourself, in essence of what you're doing for what you're trying to attract. If you want to be successful in life, then you tie yourself with successful people. If you don't want to do anything in life, then just simply do nothing. If you're trying to do something that's great, then you can't hang around people in a classical sense that's not trying to be great. But being great, as these two fine couples tag team of what they really didn't say but they alluded to, you have to step outside the box to get to know who you are, so that when you decide to date and then you decide to get married, you know exactly what you want. And you went after that. As my good brother said, I had to brush his shoulders off again, man. That was a powerful point. So I tell you, I got a homework assignment, so don't pick at me now. We talked about the married folk. We talked about those who are dating. We talked about those who are single. We talked about the father perspective, the mother perspective, and then the child perspective. But then I got one more question. How does all this relate to 2020? What should we direct people today as it pertains to spending time with somebody? What should we direct them? Anybody?
In context of the family, or just spending time with an individual in general?
In general.
In general. What works for me and what I've seen work for others, unfortunately and fortunately, is a very selfish approach. I have to prepare myself in order to be with my family. And what I mean by that is, if you are constantly working on being a better father, being a better son, being a better brother to Bryson, being a better brother to Brother Boone, that's what I mean by selfish. I have to continuously work on myself. I have to look in the mirror every morning and say, hey, Nate, what can you do better than you did yesterday in order to contribute to your family, whether that's my spiritual family or a regular family. Once I do that, I'm in a better position. I feel better, whether sometimes it may be praying more, it may be making that effort to prioritize or balance things out in your home. Maybe it's health. You're not healthy enough to be around others because you're just not healthy, whether it's mentally, physically, or spiritually. You're just not in the right mind frame, and you may need to work on yourself before you can contribute to others. But I think the best thing is to first take that honest look in the mirror, like Brother Boone was talking about, and just literally talk to yourself. Ask yourself questions, look at the scriptures, and make sure that you are honestly evaluating yourself before you, make whatever step you're going to make. So when I'm looking at myself like, hey, I'm going to make sure that before I, plan this family vacation, that's something that we do to spend time. We actually just came off of one a couple of weeks ago, but I want to make sure that I'm in the right state of mind, that I'm well enough to contribute to my family, to those who I'm about to spend time with. So I'm just, even with the singles, that's the way I believe. I believe if you're single and you are, whether you're looking for a mate or not, you are constantly supposed to work on yourself. You're supposed to grow every single day. You're supposed to do the things that you need to do to be a better version of what you were the day before. May seem like a very selfish approach, but that's honestly what we need to do in order to contribute.
And I'd like to add to that. I agree with that, but I'd like to add also that with being honest with yourself is also coming from a point of love. So you must be honest with yourself, and in doing such, it means your interactions and your reactions can't be one of harshness. You can be honest without being hateful or without being harmful, without being harsh or disheartened. So you have to be honest, but at the same time, you have to be loving. So if you're being honest and if you're loving, then you can go forward, and you also be able to receive the same thing. So we won't ever be able, no matter what, if we're in 2020 or any other time, before or after this, we'll never be able to get away from the give and take, and the honesty, the God first. We'll never be able to get away from that. And as long as we keep those things at the forefront of whatever we're doing, we're going to be on the right track for having good communications. We're going to be on the right track for being able to spend time with each other, spend time with God, because we surely can't lie to God, and we can only lie to ourselves for so long. So the honesty and the loving, if you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. It just won't work.
True.
And if you love yourself, you're not going to be trying to hurt somebody else. And if you love somebody else, you're not going to be trying to hurt them because you love them.
That's right.
So you're right back to being honest again.
I would say too, to add to that, I feel like too, it's all about, to me as well, using resources. The Bible is a wonderful tool, it's a great resource, but unfortunately we do have some out there that are not familiar with it or don't believe in it or whatever the case may be. But there's always a notebook, there's always a family member, someone to talk to. It caught me off guard because I had a coworker, wonderful friend of mine, and we were at work one day, and when we were at work, it was me and her. We was tag teaming, it was me and her. And she caught me off guard one day. We worked at a restaurant, and I was walking out of the kitchen, and she goes, "Daritza, have you been baptized?" And I was like, "Are you talking to me?" But, to be able to talk to her and, inform her and let her know what's going on, she used me as a resource. She didn't really have, with her background, she didn't really have too many people to talk to. She didn't really, she got along with people at work, but it was like, it almost like she completely bypassed them, which she did, because it was a different environment. So so just find somebody, and I would just say in the time now, it's really important with everything that's going on. You still have some stuck at home with the virus going on, or just use resources that are out there. And if you don't have any, just try to seek some. That way you will understand and you will know that you're not alone.
That's right. That's right.
Xavier, Mark Essen, the writer, what you got to say about this, man?
Well, keep your family intact, knowing that Satan's going to be at the door each and every time. My dad always says this every time, when Satan's always going to go after the Christians every time, and he's always going to go after the fathers first. Because if he gets the fathers, then the whole family falls apart. So just always keep your family intact. So for like an example, like if you know a fight is about to happen, or an argument or a disagreement, just know to like think on the situation before you act, because if you don't think, then you're just going in blind. It's like going into a battlefield blind. You don't know what you're doing. You just have a gun and it's not loaded, or is jammed or something. Yeah, you have always to be prepared what's going to happen, because if you're not prepared, then you're in trouble. So always keep your fence up around your families, and always keep your fence up around yourself. Always keep a fence around your mind too. So because Satan will attack your mind as well, mentally as well. Put those negative thoughts in your mind as well. We all struggle with that. So always keep positive stuff in your mind. Always keep praying each and every day. Keep meditating each and every day. It's always important to do that.
Hey, so we discussed what spending time is. If the Boones would be so kind, can you give examples of what's not spending time? There's some misconceptions I'm sure you guys can clear up, right?
What's not spending time? Well, when you are so busy that your home doesn't matter, if your priority is not home-based and you're concerned about outside things outside of the home that's more important to you. Maybe, friends is always calling and needing you, and you could be sitting down at mealtime and a friend call, I need you, and you forget about mealtime, you just, you go. And it's like you're always away, but there's always a reason not to be home. That takes away, because eventually it's going to cause confusion. It's going to break that peace that you have in the home. It's going to break that melody. It's going to cause friction, to come about. And, Satan is always attacking, like Xavier just said. And so, he's going to start putting thoughts in your mind, and things that you don't really want to, know, because he has a way of using your mind as a playground. And next thing you know, your blood pressure done went up 400 degrees because you have allowed Satan to put thoughts into your mind. So it's always, it's always good to be careful about outside things that can cause confusion in the home. It may start out innocently, but eventually it's going to get worse. So it's always good, to try not to allow anything, like Hebrews said, marriage is honorable and the bed is undefiled. So even when you adulterate your marriage by allowing something else to come in to take the place of your marriage, then that's just as bad as if you cheat. So you want to make sure that you don't allow anything to come in and cause a conflict or confusion to cause the waves to kind of, the storm to be a storm.
That's right.
And basically, what she's saying, what I hear her saying, is you lose focus of your commitment. Mm-hmm. If you lose focus of your commitment, you start altering your commitments. So that will make you not have the time together. It'll make you not spend the time because your focus is no longer to your commitment, or your commitment has changed. So that's how you can not spend time. If you lose focus or if you alter your commitment, and remember, the commitment is God, your spouse, your family members,
Right.
but it all falls in line. So if you lose focus of those things, you can get sidetracked easily.
Right.
And if you're sidetracked, then everything just chips away until there's no longer anything there, and there's no reason to spend any time with the people that you're spending time with.
We went to restaurants and we've seen families, and everybody at the family has a cell phone or tablet in their hand, and they're just looking. They're not communicating with each other. Even before they eat, they just gobble up food and leave. I'm like, what's the point of going to a restaurant? You could do that at home. It's not spending time with each other.
They lost focus.
They lost
Their
focus.
was somewhere other than the unit.
Right.
So this is their focus, their phones.
Yeah.
And God talks to us about other gods.
Ooh.
Okay?
He goes to a whole nother level
this is
now.
getting to be, our phones and everything else that makes you lose focus
That's right.
becomes your God. It becomes your other God.
When it's supposed to be a resource to help us achieve
To tie you
things,
together, yes.
we're using it as now it's becoming the God
It's a division.
itself. Yep, absolutely.
I like that. See, I promise y'all, I had a homework assignment, and the main thing was just grab feedback from you all. So I don't know if y'all got anything from one another, but I got a whole lot from y'all.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
So for my platform, as family, fortifying all members, inspiring lives year round, y'all have taught me a whole lot, and I appreciate that. So we read a book, and the book has some author suggestions. What does the author suggestion say, my man?
The author suggests, sorry about that, let me go and get mine. These are just a lot, but the us putting away 6 ideas, that's what we're looking for. Okay, and multiply by 8. Okay, 3 ways. I'm sorry, I can't quite read this one right here. We're going to try.
Just read the 6 things.
Oh, right in my face, aren't they? All right. The author suggests that you take a journey of happy memories. Close your eyes and think back to your childhood. Wander through the memories and bring back the 3 or 4 happiest. Could you create some similar experiences for your family? Mm-hmm. Man, that is wonderful. That is literally something that I've been trying. Well, I think I've achieved it a few times. Yeah,
Okay.
that's wonderful.
Good.
Number 2, set aside 15 minutes when the kids come in from school to share a snack and talk. If you can't be at home after school, save your break time at work to share their day over the phone. Excellent. Number 3, designate one wall or room for your family mementos. Hang pictures of mom and dad, the kids, pets, grandparents, houses you've lived in before, favorite vacation spots, etc. Decorate the room with souvenirs of trips, shells from beaches, for example. The room may not win any awards for its interior design, obviously, but the furnishings will have meaning for your family. A feeling of family identity will be created. It's a wonderful point. Number 4, work together to design a family symbol or logo. Something that we are now going to try to do. Have it printed on t-shirts or jackets so that everyone in the family has matching jackets or shirts. Put the design on the flag for the house or a banner at your front door. Wonderful. Number 5 is lengthy. I'll go ahead and adjust my hands here. It says write down or tape record for family histories. Involve grandparents and other old relatives. Ask grandparents questions such as, what were your parents and grandparents' names? Where did they live? Where were they buried? Where did you live as a child? What occupation did those folks or these folks follow? What are your brothers and sisters? Who are they? How did you and your spouse meet, court, or marry?
All right.
What are the names of your children? When and where were they born? Where did you attend school? How did you celebrate holidays? Harvests, weddings as a child. For the immediate family, thank you so much. Include information about places and residence, circumstances, surroundings, birth, and of each child. That's a story for itself. Vacations, special events, and hobbies. Use pictures if possible. A family reunion can be a good place to find out interesting bits about family history. All right, number 6, plan opportunities for one another. Plan opportunities for one-on-one relationships to grow. For example, Nick occasionally takes Joseph to the movie. Nick and Nancy may attend a conference together while Joseph stays with his grandparents. David and Joseph play computer games together. It gives time for those separate relationships to be cultivated. Thank you. Excellent. So I immediately, as I was reading that, was thinking about some of those examples. My daughter is the youngest, and with 2 older brothers, a lot of times, it can seem like you kind of getting overshadowed. They got all these sports, and everybody's so excited and energetic. And, she does ballet, so it's all slow and mellow. But nobody seems excited at times. But what she likes to, for me, I work at home now, to leave for break and take her to Smoothie King and just talk. That's what she likes. That's her one-on-one time.
Very good.
Perfect example of number 6 there.
All right. Any final remarks? Any final remarks? Those are some powerful steps of getting things done. And in the process of identifying, cultivating the family, what an individual can do is to make sure that individuals are standing firm and identifying some key elements that will build the family, that will sustain the family, and that will help the family to thrive through all life situations and through all matters that will tear barriers of default down, as you guys mentioned earlier, but build up success in identifying priorities and goals and things that we would like to do. So I appreciate you all for allowing me to come and spend a few minutes with you all. And we're going to close out, I'm assuming, with the word of prayer. And then we're going to let you guys get up out of here. We appreciate you all, family, friends, and loved ones. I'm playing to Eddie Murphy today, Maurice, and then Mr. Missouri. So I'm going to close it out as the assistant minister. We appreciate you all for taking this opportunity to allow us to depart unto you all some basic resources of building the family. And the theme for today was spending time together. What does that look like in 2020? How does that work for a single person? How does that work for a person who's dating? How does that work for someone who's married? What's the father perspective? What's the mother perspective? What's the child perspective? And so we covered all of that today to give you all an outlet to do things a little bit better. So we're going to have Brother Xavier to close us out with a word of prayer, and we're going to end up today's Fresh Start Saturday Family Connection. But before we do that, I'm going to ask everybody to stand, and we're going to bow to the audience, and then we're going to close out with a prayer. Would that be okay? Yes, sir. All right. What is it?
All right, church, let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you again. Just thank you for another day that wasn't promised to us, Lord. And we'd like to just thank you for another great event, Lord. We just want to just thank you for allowing us to just come together as Christians and just talk about marriage and families. We just want to pray that we can gain knowledge from these talks and just bring it with our families and our marriages and increase and grow as Christians, Lord. We just want to pray that we can stay strong as families and stay strong as couples, Lord. Stay strong as singles and stay strong as couples dating. We just want to pray that we can all be strong in the name of the Lord. Pray that we could put a fence around us, keep Satan away from us, Lord. And we just want to pray and thank you for sending your son to die on the cross for our sins, Lord. Pray that we can make it home safely. And Christ in you pray, amen.
Amen.